Okay, so I'm here, ready to do a live class on Facebook. Alexa, off. I hope I just didn't trigger anybody else's Alexa out there. So if you are here and you can hear me, please make a comment. I do not know if anyone's here unless you make a comment in the section of this video. And I would really appreciate it because it's a new system. When I got onto Facebook today, it's a little bit new. So I just want to make sure it's working. So please, if you're on, just give me a thumbs up, say hello in the comments section. I don't see anybody. So does that mean nobody's here? I know this will be a recorded, so this is just for people. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Denise. Okay, that was very helpful to me. So this is a recording. If you're not listening at 3 o'clock on Sunday, June 7th, you are listening to a recording or watching the recording. So welcome. Hi, Sheila, Kathy. Yay! Okay, now I don't feel so lonely. Here they all come. Patty, Kathleen. All right, love it. Okay. So today it's not a real, hi Deb, nice to see you, well your name anyways. This is not an actual typical class. I'm just going to demonstrate some new patterns that I created this week. Yes, they look like this. Don't try to figure it out. You can just kind of get an overview. So if you, hi Joan, oh yay. So if you are, oh here, Alame, Michelle, yes, thank you. Yes, that's a good word. Yes, yeah, yay, and yes put together. All right, get out your, we don't need our pencil yet. We're just going to go right to our pen, and I use this Micron 01 pen. I have an extra one here upside down in case it runs out. And then we've got the Zentangle pencil and the Tortillon. We'll do some shading later, but not much. All right, so just get a nice blank piece of paper. Let's take a nice deep breath in because we still want to be relaxed and focused. Hi, Barbara. Oh, so happy to see everybody's name popping in. And just get focused. You know, it's a rainy day, and maybe you guys have caught on that when it's a rainy day like this, these are the days I tend to do a pop-up class on Facebook. And that's if you're living locally in Florida. But you could be from all over, and you're all welcomed, and maybe it's sunny in another part of the country or the world today. All right, let's start with, actually, the shadows are coming through. I'm going to just dim my light a little bit. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. Put on another light. Oh, that's good. You know, the first thing we're going to do right now, hi Heidi from Mexico. Okay, what time is it there, Heidi? Let me know what time it is there. My friend who moved to Mexico. We're first going to do a typical pattern that we all know, or most of us know, called holly bow, because the tangles I'm going to be teaching you today are very similar to holly bow. So just draw one straight line, and in Zentangle, we don't have to be, there's no perfection, doesn't have to be exactly straight, and we're just going to double that up. Doesn't matter how fat or how thin, doesn't matter. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so I was starting to say, let's take a nice deep breath, let's relax. We're just doing like just kind of get settled, be comfortable, and use this as a very relaxing lesson, right? Not a typical class where I really go into relaxing, but now we're going to draw another line, and we're going to stop when we get to the first line, and imagine that's going underneath and come through. Now I'm doing this part fairly quickly, double that up, because most of you do know this pattern. This is a pattern called holly bow. I will spell that. Very popular pattern in Zentangle. Now we turn our tiles. I'm using a sketchbook today because I'm going to use a different page for each pattern that I teach you. And we're just going to do that again. So Zentangle is all about doing the same stroke over and over. Let's relax, breathe in and out with each stroke. And then each time you do this, just turn your tile or your sketchbook to get a different angle. Don't think about it. We don't think about much in Zentangle. And we're just drawing this thing. I said things. I started to think about my cat. And oh, Barbara, you can't get the video because of the rainstorm. Oh, yeah. I was wondering about that if some people would have trouble with the internet. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that I won't lose power or internet as I'm teaching you. So that's pretty much what Holly Bow is. And so I was going to say, I was thinking about my cat. I got distracted for a moment because, I teach these classes and I sit in my living room by myself and I talk out loud. So my cat must think I'm a nut. Anyways, but she's used to it. So here's our first holly bow variation. Instead of a straight line, we're going to give it an oval shape. I really wanted that to be a little bit more oval there. And I'll do another one. I'm going to turn my tile. And the way I do this, I kind of start from here, the edge. So Barbara, since you don't have the video, I'll try to be more clear in my description. So think of holly bow, but instead of straight lines, we're doing oval type shapes. So we're giving a slight curve to that line. Hi, Michelle Rennick. Yes, glad you're here. And what's all we're going to do? We're going to keep turning our tile just like we did with holly bow, but we're just kind of doing a curved, slightly curved, and then an oval shape, a roundish shape at the edge instead of a straight shape. So we just keep turning, and let's relax and try to, learn. This is a new tangle. I don't think there's anything out there like it. That's why I've decided to name it. And I will give you the names of all of these because they kind of have a theme. So I will, I'll give you the name of this one. It really doesn't matter. You can't Google it. It won't come up because I just created them this week. But this one is Ollie. And soon I will tell you why I came up with that name. So this is Ollie. I'm going to say Ollie Halabar, but so I'm doing another one on the edge here. Turn your tile, it can go anywhere you'd like. I'm actually going to do a nice long one now. So the thing about this pattern is we never cross over any other lines. We're always imagining the line is going underneath. And turn that tile, and we call it a tile because it typically in Zentangle we put all of our creations, our Zentangles together when we're done, and we create a mosaic. So that's why we call them tiles, but it is paper. Paper tiles we call them. So this is kind of looking funny. Now here's another step that I like to do with Ollie, is I like to embellish this. So I'm going to pick this one here that goes underneath, and I'm going to give it these nice curved lines. And you can embellish it any way you like. And just like always, at the end of this video, it will be listed as a post. And so anybody can watch the recording, but I would love it if you post a copy of what you drew today, or if you start to use these patterns, draw it and then take a photo and upload it in the comments section so we can all see what everyone did with it. I would love to see, because I have a feeling, like always, you guys do a much better job than I do with the patterns that either I create or I teach. So you can see I'm doing another one over here. I'm just putting in some orbs. And I'm going a lot faster than I usually do in a typical class, because this is not a typical class. It's just a demo, uh, and it's a teaching of some patterns where we can still relax. You can still feel meditation, but I'm not going to pause. In a typical class, I usually pause and we put on some music and I let you draw for a while. This is just to teach of some patterns that you can draw along with me. So if you don't, yeah, so Barbara, if you don't have the video access, what I did was I just picked one section. You know, like if it was a holly ball, it would be one board, I would call it, but this is an oval shape, so one hole, and I just gave it some embellishments. So I put some curved lines in the whole thing, and or the other one, I put some orbs in the whole thing, and if it goes underneath, I continue going underneath. Okay. So if you haven't said hello yet in the comment section, please do, because I just get so juiced when I see people here, and I have no idea if you're here, if you don't. Even if you're listening to the recording, you can still make a comment. I'll still see it at some point, and that would be great. So this is something you can embellish, work on, have fun with. Now I'm going to show you some shading with this, and typically it's the same type of shading we would do on a holly bough, and which there's so many different ways to shade, but I'm just going to, wherever it looks like it's going underneath, kind of like where they connect, I just put a little bit of graphite. So I'm using my Zentangle pencil, but you can use any pencil you want. And if you don't have a tortillon, you can use a Q-tip or your finger or anything that will blend. So I'm putting a little bit of graphite right where it looks like it's going underneath. And I'll do that in a lot of areas here. And then once you put your graphite down, you can blend it with your tortillon, which is just gray rolled paper. Looks like a joint, but it's not. And put that in. Some of you are like, saying, what's a joint? And you don't need to know. Okay. I'm sure you do know. Most people know what a joint is. All right, so now what I do with the remnants of my tortillon, if I have some embellishments, I'm just going to put a little bit, I'm going to dab a little bit on the edges here of the stripes, because it kind of makes it lift off the paper a little bit when you do that with a rounded type. And then with the same with the remnants, I'm going to, with the orbs, I'm just going to dab a little bit of graphite in part of the orbs, just a small part of the orb, just dabbing a little bit of graphite. And many of you out there might be very experienced with shading. You might decide to do something totally different with it. All right, so I'm not going to spend much time there. That's just a quick shading. We're going to move on to the second pattern today. And remember, I still have to tell you the story on how I came up with the names of these patterns. And they're all variations of holly bough. All right, so the next one is called Snob. Now these step outs will be on my website. Hi, Kate, Patty Evans, Kate Mars, yay, thank you for saying hello. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, keeping the same holly bough, but we're doing a different shape. So we're gonna start with a straight line like we usually do, but at the end, we're gonna give it a point and then come down, and at the other end, give it a point and connect. Looks like a lightning rod or something like that. And now, oh, hi Valentine, yay, no drum circle today, we're rained out. And now we're gonna turn the tile and do the same thing. Now I like to come off, you don't have to, but it's easier for me to come off of this line here, the outer line of the one we just drew, come up, give it that point, come back, and imagine that line is going underneath, and give it that point at the end and come back to connect. So let's do this for a few minutes. Turn your tile, get a different angle. There's no right or wrong in Zentangle. Hi, Alice. Yay! Online and out of the rain. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to start calling this Rainy Tangle because that seems to be the times that I do these live Facebook pop up classes when it rains, or if there's a hurricane, or if we have a pandemic and we are housebound, that as well. Hopefully, that won't happen again, but you never know what's in the future. So just very gently focusing on each stroke, giving it these points, always going underneath the other lines or the other lightning rods, if you want to call them that. And please do say hello if you haven't yet, so I can announce your name to everybody. Of course, that's not the reason. And you can notice this is a little off-centered, but you know what? It doesn't matter because in Zentangle, there's no perfection. It's okay. It's all right. Let's just do another one here. And you're also welcome to ask questions in the comments if you have a question about Zentangle or anything like that. And there's no right or wrong. Just got in, yay. I love the comments that you guys are all making. I just love it. All right, so I think I'll give you an opportunity to do that a little bit more. I'm not going to rush too much now. I don't think you guys have any place to go. And if you do, you can always watch the recording later if you want. And for some of you that don't know, I have a YouTube channel now, and all of the free classes that I do on Zoom are recorded, and you can watch them at any time for free. And if you're on my newsletter, you would get the link to that. And to get on the newsletter, just go to rejuventangle.com, and it's right. The sign up is right there. For the paid classes that I do, only the people who sign up will have access to those videos for those paid classes. And all those are on my website. All right, this is fun, huh? Hi, Janet Smith. Yay. Yes. Are we in a tornado warning again? Oh my gosh, I haven't turned the news on. I bought a new TV today at Best Buy and I'm still trying to figure out how to work it. So I'm going to have to go to YouTube later on and get my lessons. Okay, so now we're going to do the same type of shading. Now you can embellish these as well um, if you want, but I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm just going to put some shade. And when I say embellish, that means I'll demonstrate again. It means you can put in some, maybe some print tones in the middle of these lightning rods, which I've decided to call these today. But we try not to call them things because Zentangle is not supposed to look like anything. We don't want to have that impression. So I just quickly did some messy print holes, little spirals, so you can kind of see what I meant about embellishing. And also, you could do something in the background instead. I mean, a lot of you know that. Maybe I just want to put some weight on the corners here. Maybe round off these corners in the background. Those like rectangular square shapes in the background. I'm just curving the corners off and coloring those in so it almost looks like an orb was squished in there. So I think we did that recently. I think we did that recently, one of my classes. Or you can take one of these printouts here and maybe fit it into one of these background situations, spaces. So lots of things you can do. Just follow your own desires. There's no right or wrong. Tap into your own creativity and see what you can discover that you can do. So I'm doing the same type of shading where I'm just going underneath. Now I'm going to show you another shading you can do. One is you could go right I'm going to take this rod here, that's one rod that's going underneath all these sections, and I'm going to put a little bit of graphite right next to, right on the outside of that line. Just a little bit, kind of just tracing right above it, almost like giving it an aura. And then I'm going to blend it in with the tortillon. And so the shading, you can see the shading, but it looks a lot different on my paper than on here. And hi, Linda, I was hoping you'd show up. Oh, Tim, wow, all right, way to go. Glad you're here. Okay, so that is another way of shading. Now, if you want, you can go on the other side as well. And then blend that in. So you can see there's so many different ways to shade this pattern, which is the same type of shading with Holly Bow or Ollie or any of the other two that I'm going to share with you today as well. So that's a little bit of shading there. Oh, and with this one here, I would probably go right inside, trying to stick to the edges. Just dabbing it really, okay? All right, let's take another deep breath in. Again, this was called Snob, and you'll find out why very soon. Just like holly bow, it's really pointy holly bow. The other one was rounded holly bow. So if any of you came in late, I'll just show you what we did earlier, and you can watch the recording later. But we're doing 4 different versions of holly bow that I created without even trying. It just kind of came to me. I didn't sit down and say, oh, I want to figure out how to do holly bow differently. It just kind of came to me, and that's what I love about Zentangle. So here is kind of floppy, loosey, but it's the whole idea is holly bow, but with a rounded edge and kind of a slightly curved side rather than the straight holly bow that we do. And if you don't, and that's the original holly bow is the square line. So I'm just showing you that in case you came on late today. So now we're gonna do another one. We have 2 more to go. And again, it's not a typical Zentangle class where we're doing a lot of uh, tangling when I'm not talking. This is more of a demo instruction, and hopefully you're tangling with me. Okay, so here's a really cool one, really fun. I like this one. Take your pen and just do a zigzag, almost like you're drawing Z's continually, just Z, zigzag. And I'm doing this on an angle. For some of you who don't have the video connection because of the storm, and you can hear me, I'm doing this on an angle. You don't have to, but I did a nice long zigzag, and now I'm going to aura that. And for this one, I'm going to give it a nice thin aura. So I'm going to aura quite close to this zigzag. Breathing in and out. Still relaxed, even though it's not my typical Zentangle mindful class. We are still mindful, and we're still relaxed, and we're still focusing. So there you have that. And now we're going to do the same exact thing like a holly bow. So let's turn our tile or a piece of paper just a little bit and start from someplace else. So I'm going to start from up here, away from that first zigzag I did, and I'm going to work my way down to that zigzag. When I get there, I'll stop on the edge and imagine it's going underneath and continue on. And now we're going to give that an aura, doubling that up. And I really like this part. It's just kind of, for me, it's really enjoyable to aura these zigzags. So if anyone else has come on and you haven't said hello yet, please do. Love to see who's here. And now we'll do that again. Turn your tile and start anywhere you want, doing that zigzag. Always going underneath when you get to another zigzag. And if you want, you can turn it. So right now I'm going to start to turn it and continuing my zigzag, I'm turning it and I'm touching that other one. So now I've connected with both zigzags. I mean, now we got to remember where they are when you order them. Just got to follow along, focusing on what we're drawing and nothing else. Okay. Really cool. I love this. Oh, did I tell you what it was called? No, I don't think I did. This one is called Latte. Latte, just like a latte. So let's do this a few more times. I did mine really big today, but that's okay. And turn it around anywhere you want. Don't think about it. Just draw these zigzags. And when you come to another one, just touch the edge and go underneath and continue on. Feeling relaxed. Going nice and slow. Latte. And if there's anyone out there that have seen similar or tangles that I'm teaching today, let me know, because sometimes people come up with the same ideas and then they name them, and now we've got many different tangles with the same names. So I'm wondering if anyone has seen anything like this out there, you let me know, please. You can either put it in the comments or you can PM me. Cool, huh? Latte, latte. All right. Now we're going to move on to the fourth one. Oh, let me show you some shading with this one. Let's see. I think for this shading, what's calling to me right now, and if you know, again, there's no right or wrong, there's lots of different ways, but I'm putting a little shading right on the points of these zigzags inside where the points are. And I'm also going to do this typical shading of underneath. See where they connect there. And with my tortillon, I just blend it in just a little bit. Now I'm using a sketchbook today, so with paper that's just plain white paper. It's not even drawing paper or Zentangle paper, and it still shades okay. It's not as good as the Zentangle paper, but it still does shade nicely. And now I'm using what's left on my tortillon to just dab a few other points. So I kind of like that. And if you want to embellish this, you could do a few different things. You could curve off again, maybe some corners and color those in. Rounding a corner, you could put in a pattern. So I'm going to show you right here a pattern that I'm thinking of, and it's just Knightsbridge. That's all it is. So it's, you draw a checkerboard, and I'm not going to fill in the whole thing, but just to give you an idea of so many different things you can do with any Zentangle pattern. So I just put a checkerboard in, and then I would color in every other square. Or you can just color in squares randomly, and it will still be a cool effect. And I'm working, again, pretty fast, so it looks a little bit messier than I would like, but that's okay. All right, so you have an idea there. You could do orbs in the background too. You don't have to do anything in the background, but these are just options, my messy orbs. And you can also design the actual zigzags with lines or anything you want. And I think lines in here actually would look really cool because you're going in different directions. Again, I'm going really fast for that. Um, and then I would continue on. I'm very messy right now. So you can have a lot of fun with this. So I look forward to seeing what you do with any of these. I hope that you will post them on the Facebook page. We still have one more to go, and then I will tell you the story as we're doing this one. This is really simple. All we're going to do is start drawing orbs. So orbs are just imperfect circles, and they're connected. So I'll zoom in here. So I'm drawing circles on top of each other. They're just connecting. And I'm going in an angle right now. So imagining holly bough, imagining that those two straight boards, imagining you're just, instead of the board, you're filling in those boards with these circles. But there's no boards. And now we're going to turn our tile and do the same thing from somewhere else and start to work your way towards that first caterpillar. I'm going to call it a caterpillar. Doesn't look anything like a caterpillar, but stream of pearls maybe. And now I'm going underneath and continuing on. And actually, with these orbs, it kind of makes it, you can very easily kind of give it a, maybe make a little turn with it. Kind of, if you want, that's just an option. You can kind of give it a turn. So now turn your tile again and do another one, just like you would. Oops, I was watching the screen instead of my paper. That's why that got all a little sloppy. I just realized you could probably do this with hearts too, because I almost, look, that looks like a little heart. And come through, maybe go off to the side, maybe curve it around and come back and go down. Again, that's just optional. You can keep it straight if you want. And turn again, get another angle. And if you haven't said hello in the comments section, I would love it. Would love to know who's here. Otherwise, I have no idea who is here. And it really makes me feel so good when I see so many people watching and knowing that it's worth doing. So the more people that say hello, the more I realize I should be doing this as long as people are coming. So you see how there's kind of a little messy mistake here. There's no mistakes in Zentangle. So instead, when I see this, we have no erasers in Zentangle, especially if we're working with pen. And so for this, usually if I see something like that, I kind of want to do something with it. So what I might do is I'll just darken that a little bit, going around, maybe leave a little space. Now there's a couple things I could do. I could add it on all the other ones. And this happens a lot in Zentangle. If I do something that I'm like, oh, well, let me add that to all of them then. And then it looks kind of cool. And sometimes I think it was just meant to be, to add something different. Another thing I could have done if I wanted to just not add it to that, I could make this into something like a bijou. So a little cute little accent there. Maybe give it some legs. So it looks like there's a little bijou snail or bug or something coming out of it. So there's lots of things you can do. There's a pattern called, what's it called, Trish, Barbara? I forget. But it looks like this. I don't know why I can't think of it. And it came out of a mistake that Maria made. Maria, co-founder of Zentangle, with her husband Rick Roberts. And so she started to do this to go over it, and then they named it a pattern, and now it's a pattern. What's it called? I forget. I can look in my book. But Barbara or Trish, you know what it is. Come on, let me know. Put it in the comments section. Or anybody might know this pattern. It looks like grapes almost, like a bunch of grapes. Oh, what's it called? Okay. Well, if nobody tells me, I'll look it up before we end today. Or I could put it in the comments section later. But it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, lots of things you can do. Okay, so for shading for this one, again, you can do all different things. There are two things that are coming to mind for me is to put a little bit of pencil right on the inside edge of one side of those orbs. So maybe just on the right side of each orb, putting a little bit and then a little dabbing. Again, the shading doesn't come out a lot with this lighting, with this camera, but you can at least see what I'm doing. You can see already how different it looks. And the other option is you can do right along the outside, giving it a little bit of an aura on the outside. And I'm going to do both sides here. And this hopefully will kind of lift off the orbs. So it looks like it's coming off the paper a little bit, that 3D effect. Bronx cheer, Deb, thank you so much. Okay. Raspberries, Ilome. Well, they do look like raspberries. Thank you. But Bronx cheer, Deb just put it in the comments. That's the name of this pattern. Thank you so much, Bronx cheer. Okay. So you can see when I do shade this, it just gives it a whole different look. And you actually could shade the background of this whole thing. Let's try another one. So I'd like you all to now keep tangling, all right? So I went, oh, what's this one called? Okay, Joan, I'm gonna tell you, oh, thank you. Thank you, Joan. Yes, this one is called Rafe. Rafe. I think we need the accent for that. So Rafe, now, so as I am telling you the story, I'd like you to tangle, maybe find your favorite one or all of them. I'm also going to show you how the step out I did with how I mixed them together. So let's see, and the step outs are on my website. You have to go, I'll try to put a link in the post, but if you go to rejuventangle.com or jackierose.com and click on more and Jacki's patterns is where you'll find them. So here is where I put Ollie and Snob together. Again, it looks a little bit messy, but this is and showing embellishments and shading. So I kind of mixed them together. You see the points are going through the ovals and whatnot. So we put those together. And then with the Latte and Rafe, I didn't really put them together, but I put them next to each other. So you can just see it. Again, it's kind of a messy, but that's me. You know, I look forward to seeing what all of you do. And remember, I want you to post them in the Facebook page. So as I am talking and shading, I want you to be tangling and practicing these tangles. And yeah, and what was I going to say? Yeah, so draw or tangle and just listen to the very short story of how I came up with these patterns and the names. I went out the other day. It was Thursday. So these patterns aren't even a week old yet. And what's the last one called, Michelle? It's Rafe. Rafe. And I'll go through these again. So Rafe. And so I went to Harbor Freight. Never even heard of Harbor Freight. But somebody told me they got their camping chairs there, so I wanted to go get one like it. So I go there, and they're out of the chairs. And I went all the way to Leesburg, and it was early in the morning. I said, now what? And I needed to get some coffee. And so I Googled local coffee places, and I found one, and I went in, and it was called Cafe Snob. Cafe Snob. So that's where Snob comes from. And it was a really adorable, it's only a year old, and they opened a year ago, and it really was quite adorable. I actually took a video of it. If anybody wants to see it, I'll maybe post it later. But I sat there, and it was another rainy day, and what was next door to Cafe Snob, which I did not know, was Ollie's. And I've heard so much about Ollie's, and I've been wanting to go to Ollie's. I'm like, oh my gosh, here's Ollie's that everyone's been talking about. So I decided to get my coffee, and then when Ollie's opens up, because it was kind of early, I will go into Ollie's. So as I got to tangle, you know how it goes. You know, Ollie's opened up, but I tangled for another hour because it was so relaxing in this beautiful Cafe Snob. And for some reason, I just decided to do different holly bows. And this was what came up. So let's go back to the first name. We've got Ollie for Ollie's, because I was waiting for Ollie's to open, and this is the first one I did. And then we've got Snob for Cafe Snob. That was the second one I did. And I thought Snob was just a good name. And then Latte, because I was drinking a latte at the time that I was creating these tangles. And then we've got Rafe, because it was raining and I was in the cafe. So raining cafe together is Rafe. So that's how I came up with my names. And that's typically how Zentangle comes up with their names. So please write in the comments section, you know, what did you think about today's demo class? And what are your questions, if any? But I would love to hear what you thought about this. And why don't you keep tangling for a little bit, and for another minute or two, I will show you what we did last week. I did a pop-up demo, and it's on my website, the step outs, but the recording is on the Facebook page. You just got to go to videos to find it. And here it is, Santiago. Don't look at this side. This is just a different, but let me cover that up. It's just, we already did that. So Santiago is what we did last week, and it was based on a fence that I saw in the village of Santiago, the entrance. And thank you, Denise. I'm so glad this was fun. I love hearing that. Thank you. And I posted the picture that I took and the story on the website on Jacki's Patterns. So it's kind of cool looking, and we've got different variations of it, and I really like drawing it. And then here is kind of the little sample. So that was Santiago. Maybe I should do a tangle for all the villages in the village, or some of them. Oh, thank you, Deb. Love the story. Look forward to checking out the coffee shop. Yeah, we should go tangle there. It's really quite nice and quiet. And we should do a field trip, a Zen Tangle field trip. Tornado sirens and all. Oh my God, goodness, wow, my turn just lost its point. Does that mean it? Okay, so I just had a question about the tortillon. If it loses its point, does that mean that it's done as far as done as does that mean it's done as far as small shading? Well, you know what you can do with your tortillon, and people ask me this a lot, is you get an emery board or some, thank you, Valentine, or some sandpaper, and you can sharpen your tortillon. Um, and a lot of people do that, and you can clean it off on paper like this. But if you want to sharpen it, use an emery board, a nail file, and some sandpaper. I just take another tortillon out because I can't be bothered, and they're very, in my opinion, they're very inexpensive, and I get a whole bunch of them. So, good question. Any other questions or comments? Okay. So, as a reminder, um, I would please post photos of what you did during our class or after the class, just using any of these one, two, three, or four of these patterns. Please post in the comment section. This video should be live. The recording should be up on the post as soon as we end the class today. And I would love to see what you guys have done or will be doing. You can post anytime you want. It'll be up there forever, but it'd be great if you could post today. And as a reminder, for some of you who are interested, this Wednesday I'm starting a 3-week Zoom Tangle class. Will be the second one that we're doing. And it's only $33 for all 3 classes, and you get recordings to them. So even if you can't make the recordings, you can't make it live, you can have access to the recordings. And then the end of the month, I have Zoom Tangle 5, which is going to be so exciting. We're using the Opus tiles if you want, and we're going to just do 5 consecutive days of adding 5 patterns to our tile, the same tile every day. Everything's on the website. If you're on my newsletter, you'll be getting them. And thank you, Heidi. Oh, that's great. They are more free floating than Hollyball. Yes, yeah, they are. Thank you, Heidi. And let's see what else is going on. If you live in the villages and you're interested in taking an in-person class, I am doing one more class through the Enrichment Academy before the fall, and that's June 15th. That's in about a week from Monday, and it'll be in a class, and that's also on my website. There's a few spots left, and they are practicing social distancing, and so you would just have one person per table, and you don't have to wear your mask unless you're going to be 6 feet apart from someone. So, oh, thank you, Michelle. Caught one of these lives, yes. And yeah, so this has been a lot of fun. Again, if you're on and you haven't said hello, please do so I know you were here. It just helps me feel good about what I'm doing when I see how many people are here. And everyone that I saw today, I'm so happy to see your names here. Really means so much to me. Oh, we got a lot here. So really wonderful. And I will review those later. All right, so if there aren't any last minute questions or comments, I'm going to sign off. I have to go figure out how to work my TV. And I'm really grateful you were all here with me tangling. and I look forward to seeing what you post. So stay safe and be well and have a nice, relaxing rest of the evening. And now I have to, oh, here, I have to figure out how to turn this off. All right, bye, everybody.